Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone's doing amazing. For this video, we have a ton of different designs going on. We got some chrome and some rhinestones, some airbrush design. We have the best part, which steals the whole design, the 3D butterflies. I did it all with gel polish and I'm going to show you how. If you want to skip to that part, you totally can, because I understand that this video is long. I tried to shorten it as much as possible, and the reason I didn't post last week was exactly that reason, because there was so much to edit and so much footage to go through that it just took me forever. But here we are, we finally made it. So before we get into the fun part, I'm gonna just go over what I'm doing here really quick. So of course, I'm going to be using my nail forms in order to do my acrylic application. If you're new here, you will quickly find out that I only use forms for my acrylic application. I do not like how tips look on a couple of my fingers because they do point upwards, and using forms just gives me a beautiful, natural, structured look. So the cover acrylic that I'm using right here is in the shade Prettiest Pink by Valentino's Cover Acrylic System, and I'm absolutely loving it. I'm trying to be diverse and use as many of their cover acrylic shades as I can, but I'm starting to get my favorites. Right now it's Prettiest Pink. Platinum Silk is absolutely gorgeous. Classic Nude, and I love Bear Me. Like, those shades are just so beautiful to me, and I keep going back to those shades because to me they just match so well with my skin tone and the types of designs that I want to do, like the colors that I want to use them for. But at the end of the day, I am trying to use as many shades as possible, because then how will I know what shades look good with certain colors? You know what I mean? And I don't know, I have the system, so why not use it? You know, I mean, it's there, otherwise it would just go to waste. So that's what I'm trying to do. But this is Prettiest Pink, long story short. I also want to mention that I am using my Pana acrylic brush in a size 16. And the monomer that I'm using is the not polished monomer. I've actually gotten that question a couple of times in some of the comments, so I do want to mention that I am using the not polished monomer. I've used a couple other brands, like I've used Young Nails and I've used Mia Secret. I have used Valentino's monomer as well, but I don't know, I just like the way the not polished monomer works. It just leaves everything so buttery smooth, and it's so easy to work with. So that's just what I have been sticking to. And you can get it on Amazon too, which I think is awesome, because if you got Prime, they'll give it to you like the next day or within the next 2 days. And when you're in a time crunch, that is so important to me. So everything that I'm using, for the most part, you can get off of my Amazon storefront, or you could click the links down below to see the specific product that you're looking for. So like I mentioned earlier, there is a lot going on in this design, and because of that, I knew I needed as much room as possible. And given that I was going for a tapered square shape, I knew I needed length because I wasn't gonna have the width that I needed. You know, when you go for an actual square shape, you do get a little bit more space. It's not much, but it is a little bit more space. And when there's so much detail going on, that little bit of space makes a difference. But because the shape was gonna be tapered, then I needed all that length it was gonna give me. So these are super, super long tapered square nails. Now, here is my application only before I start filing, and I'm not gonna lie, I was loving her. She looks good. So because the application was pretty smooth, I didn't have to do a lot of cleanup. Right now I'm using my 5-in-1 carbide bit by Melody Susie, and I love this bit. It's this one, and if you've watched any of my previous videos, it is the other 5-in-1 carbide bit by Melody Susie, and it's gold. And the other one is pretty cool because it's like, it goes from extra fine on the tip to extra coarse all the way down at the bottom of the barrel. And it comes in handy. I absolutely love these two bits. They're the only two bits that I really use, and because it's so sharp, I like to go underneath my sidewalls and clean up underneath that way rather than using a hand file because it's such a time saver. The other things that I'm using are my Melody Susie e-file. I've had this e-file for years and it has never failed me. I know that a lot of people get problems where they'll be like, oh, their e-file just completely shut down and stopped working. And I noticed that that could happen if when you go to change your bit, if you get dust trapped on the inside. So what I like to do before I change my bit is take a mani brush and clean all of the dust and powder from the acrylic off of the barrel where I'm going to remove it. That way I don't trap dust on the inside when I go to swap it out. Another thing that you want to make sure you're doing in order to take care of your e-files is that you are wiping them down. You want to unplug them. Don't leave them plugged in. You want to put everything away nicely. Keep the cord nice as well. Don't just like tangle it all up. You want to roll it up nicely when you put it away. That way you are maintaining it as much as possible. Also, I am using the McCart dust collector. I've also had this for a really, really long time. And if you notice, I have dry sheets, like the dryer sheets that you would put in with your laundry. That's what I'm using to help collect some of the dust. That way I don't have to change the filter as often and they smell good. So that's another bonus. But it is so powerful. That dust collector really, really sucks up the dust. Before I used to use one when I was starting off as a beginner tech, I didn't use one, and when I tell you there was dust everywhere, it was so annoying to clean up because you will never fully get all of the dust. But using a dust collector, and this one is my favorite, it is so helpful with keeping the dust trapped. And if you have all that dust floating around, you know it could get trapped in your lungs. So we don't want that. We want to be safe. So highly recommend this dust collector. Like I said, everything that I'm using is going to be linked down below. So if you guys are looking for some good products and products that are going to get to you within a couple of days, check out the links down below because most of my products that I get are from Amazon because they are, I mean, you can't beat 2-day shipping. That's what really does it for me. And these are products that, like I said, I've been using for a while. So if I didn't like them or if they didn't work, I wouldn't order them no more. But I love them. So be sure to check them out. Once everything was said and done, this is what my nails are looking like. And like I said, it was a tapered square. I think I got it pretty spot on. So to kick off the nail art, I went in with this shade by Beetles in 908. Now they don't make this shade anymore, which sucks, but they do have a similar one, and I'll link that in the description below. And the cool thing about the one I'm gonna link is that it's HEMA free, which I know is really important to a lot of people because there's a huge HEMA allergy going around right now. And the shade, I believe you can get it by itself, or you can get like a pack of 6 different shades that it comes in, which are really, really pretty. I think it's blue, yellow, red, green, purple, and maybe one more shade that comes in that collection. But be sure to check those out if you are looking for a HEMA-free gel polish. Now I used this shade of blue on my middle finger and my thumb, and I did do 2 coats of it. I sometimes feel like I don't have to, but in my mind, I feel like I need to because I want to make sure that there's no like uneven coats. So just to be sure, I always do 2 coats no matter what type of design or what the color is. The next thing I did was take this cat eye gel polish by Beetles as well. It's in the shade F010. Now this comes in a collection of 6. You cannot buy it on its own. However, you don't really need this because as I was finishing up the nail design, I realized that when I left it matte, not only did I leave it matte, sorry, I'm getting so tongue-tied. Not only did I leave it matte, but I added a flower right on top that practically took up the entire design. And so it really didn't matter. So if you're trying to copycat this look, you can just go in with a normal shade of purple. So after that, the next thing I did was take my airbrush with those same 2 colors, and I sort of just airbrush different parts of the nail. I've seen this design on Pinterest a couple of times, and I think it looks so beautiful because it reminds me of those sort of when it's like those AI pictures where you're sitting on the beach and the clouds are purple and the sand is pink. I know if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. And I thought it was so pretty, so I figured that design would be perfect for this look. So I did that on my ring finger, and then on my index finger I only did half of the nail. So I split that airbrush right down the middle, and you'll see what I mean once I finish. I do want to mention really quick that cleanup brush that you guys see me using around the cuticle. My goodness, I love it. I mentioned it in my last video because I've never really had an actual cleanup brush. I've sort of just used the brushes that I had and made it work. But now that I have a cleanup brush, it's like, where have they been all my life? I can't believe I made it this far without using them, especially you guys for pedicures. because we all know that doing your own pedicure at the angle that you have to sit is so difficult, and it's so easy to flood your cuticles when you're doing your toes. But man, that cleanup brush was a lifesaver. For the first time in my life, I actually had clean, beautiful cuticles when I did my pedicure. So if you struggle with that like me, especially if you're trying to do like your manis and pedis, trust me, get yourself a cleanup brush. You will not regret that. At this point, you can really see the design coming to life and all the colors bringing it together. And it started to remind me of cotton candy. Like, that's what I was thinking of when I was doing this. And I thought it was so cute. But right now, I'm going to start the chrome design. So I always go in with my Beetles black polish. You guys know that I use this all the time. I literally have not used, well, actually, no, I've tried Modelone's black polish, and to me, Beetles was just top notch, way better. So, anyways, I'm going in with my Beetles black polish, and then what I do is I cure it for 15 seconds in my Lavenda nail lamp. I just got the Lavenda nail lamp about a month ago, and I've been using it ever since. And it's really, really nice because it's so easy to clean. It has a detachable bottom, which is how I've been able to do my pedicures so much easier. And it comes with a low heat setting too, which was cool. So anyways, I put it in there for 15 seconds, and then I just go ahead with my makeup applicator sponge and I start rubbing the chrome all over it, and then I top coated it. After you apply the chrome, you want to apply top coat only to the chrome area, and then you want to fully cure it. Once you fully cure it, you can go ahead with some swipe or some alcohol and wipe away all of the remaining chrome powder that was left over. Now, this gel set I just got off of Amazon, and look at all of the colors. I loved it. But the only color for this set that we're gonna use is white. I know, I'm sorry. But the cool thing about this is, look, it's literally like clay. So it's not sticky at all. And if you mess up or you want to redo the design or take it off completely, you absolutely can and start all over. It's so easy to use, which was kind of refreshing because you guys know that I use the solid nail glue by Macart, which I still use in this video, but not having to worry about the stickiness was kind of nice, I'm not gonna lie. But what I did was I did the same thing as I would with the solid nail glue. I kind of used it like a caterpillar and rolled it up into a cylinder. That way I can break it off easily to get the piece that I need. And then I just started molding it with the little silicone tool that it comes with. So I'm going to let you sit back and watch how I did these 3D flowers. I do apply it to my thumb, middle finger, and pinky, but I don't show every finger because it is pretty repetitive. So I'll just show you a little snippet of it. So after I did the white 3D flowers, the next thing I did was take a makeup sponge and add that same shade of Blue by Beetles into the center just to give it a little more dimension and make it a little more fun. Then after that, I took a normal shade of purple, not the cat eye polish, and I just did some like stems coming out of the center of the flower. I did say I was still going to use Macart's solid nail glue. So I just basically went in and used this as a top coat, which is better than using a actual top coat because it keeps adding to the 3D design. After the sculpted gel lines, the next thing I did was go out and outline the French line with caviar beads. Now, if you've ever worked with caviar beads, you already know they're really annoying, but they make such a difference if you actually take the time to be patient with them in bringing out the design. So what I like to do is I like to take a nail art brush with some sculpted gel paint by McCart, or you could use whatever you got. It could be hard gel, whatever you got. And I literally will dip my brush into the sculpted gel paint and then go into the caviar beads and sort of just scoop it around, and that's how I get them to stick together. You cannot use base coat, you cannot use top coat, because it will just slide around and nothing will stay in place. So you need to use some type of gel that has a thicker viscosity, like gel paint, or like sculpted gel or hard gel. That way everything can kind of stick together without sliding around and getting all messy. You guys probably won't believe me, but right here, I was so debating of just leaving the design like this because I thought it looked cute. I really did. I was loving the extra little oomph that the gold beads were giving it. And I was like, man, I should just leave it like this because it looks so nice. But you know me, I can never be basic when it comes to my nails. I always want to go above and beyond and do the most and make things harder for myself. So here we go. We're going to get right into those 3D butterflies. So to create these 3D butterflies, you want to go ahead and pick whatever colors you want. I chose 2 different shades. I did yellow and orange, and then you want to do black to outline your butterfly. Then you need this is the piece of paper that comes with the nail forms. So you want something where you can draw out or paint out your butterfly and it's not gonna stick to it at all, because you need it to come off super easy. So the next thing you want to do is take your nail art brush and just go ahead and start outlining your butterfly however big or small you want. I do have my iPad up in the corner. You can kind of see the keyboard up in the left corner, and I'm using that as my guide because, I mean, realistically, it is kind of hard to paint a butterfly off the top of your head. We kind of know what it looks like, but there's so many different beautiful outlines out there. So if you need help, don't be afraid to just find one on Pinterest and go ahead and just outline it as best as you can. Now, to achieve the butterfly look the way I did it, I did 6 different sets of butterflies. By the way, I just want to mention, if you can hear my kids in the background, I'm so sorry. They just got home from school and they're excited to play, so don't mind them. But I did do 6 different sets of butterflies. 3 big butterflies, just like this on the top row, and then 3 tiny sets of butterflies. And the reason I did that was to give the butterfly a little bit more dimension. So this is what it ends up looking like once everything is said and done. You can see the 3 big ones and then the 3 little ones on the bottom. And what I did was I took the orange shade and just outlined the edges and lightly feathered them inward. And that's what gave it what I was going for, was an ombre effect. And then the next thing you want to do is just outline the butterfly with black liner gel. Now, it is important to know that you should be flash curing the polish in between at least every 2 wings. That way the polish doesn't start to like spurse out and do weird things. And then after that, once you think it looks great and you have it exactly how you want it, fully cure that piece of paper in the lamp for 60 seconds. And then we can watch the magic happen. So I took some solid nail glue by McCart, and then I just put a little ball on my finger, just like this. At first I thought this was too much, but it actually turns out to be the perfect amount. Then I started placing the wings on. Now, I don't know what I was thinking right here. I don't know why I did it this way. I was trying to be delicate, and when you are doing this, you absolutely want to be careful because you can snap the wings in half, and then you just did all that work for nothing. So That's probably why I kept trying to use the tweezers. But be super careful and start with the big butterfly first and put that one on the outside, both the top wings and the bottom wings. And then what you're going to do is take the small butterfly and you're going to start to stick the wings inside the bigger butterfly. I know I'm explaining it a little bit weird, but you'll see what I mean right here, because I don't know, my brain's having a brain fart. So there you go. I'm putting the tinier wings on the inside of the big wings, and this gives it a lot more dimension, and I don't know, it looks so cute this way. Once you have the wings of the butterfly the way that you want, you're going to go ahead and flash cure that with the little flash, I was going to say flashlight, but I guess it is like a little flash curing light. I have these linked in my Amazon cart, and these are great if you're going to do 3D designs like that, because sometimes the bigger the design, the harder it is going to be to put it in your actual nail lamp, because you're going to hit the top. And so if you don't have a detachable one like mine, then it makes it really hard to slide it in, and you don't want to ruin the design. So if you need a flash curing light, this is great. It's going to be linked in my Amazon cart. But once you flash cure it, go ahead and move on to the next nail. I went ahead and put a butterfly on my ring finger, and then I put another one on my thumb. Oh my gosh, you guys, that is so not what I meant. What I meant to say was that they'll be linked in the description below, which will take you to Amazon, or you can check them out in my Amazon storefront link below as well. My goodness. This was the final look, everybody. Thank you guys so much for watching. Look at how cute they are. I love them. I love them. I was showing everybody these nails because they were so adorable, and I think the colors worked out so good. They took me, I'm not even kidding, like 8 hours to do. So this is time consuming, but so worth it in the end. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.